Hey guys, it's me, Desi Arnaz, professional investor, and I want to welcome you today to our show, the Note Investing for Newbies show. It's a show that I do every Monday, and we do this at Monday at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 on the East Coast. And so I just wanted to just remind you guys to tune in every week and share and like this. We go Facebook Live. We also go YouTube Live. And I just want to encourage you guys to share this because there are a lot of people out there that need this message. Let's see. All right. So, again, I'm Desi Arnaz, professional investor. And on our show today, we're going to be talking about something pretty interesting. I'm going to be showing you guys a couple of case studies and showing you how you can create cash flow for yourself or for someone that you care about with note investing. And I think you're going to find it really, really enlightening. And so I want to welcome you to the show. If you're here, like and share this, please. Share this with somebody and bring them on board. Get me some Facebook love, as they say, right? Bring them on board. That would be great. I would really appreciate it. Our show today is brought to you by investbrilliantly.com. That is they're our sponsor today, investbrilliantly.com. At investbrilliantly.com, you can learn all about note investing, and you can learn how to create passive income for yourself, and then you can learn how also to pass that knowledge on down to the next generation. So I want to encourage you guys to get over to investbrilliantly.com. Check it out. When you get there, you'll see this page right here. This is the home page. And if you wanted to know about our coaching program, you can just say, hey, tell me about your coaching program, which is a great program. I think it's the best bargain on the internet for note investing. It's only $97 a month, and it's just month to month, no contracts. And when you get involved, you get immediate access to the Note Investor University, where I have about 40 or 50 videos there where I teach you all about note investing. And I think you'll find it to be pretty darn exciting. Plus, you also get to become a part of our Millionaire Maker Mastermind sessions that we have every Saturday morning with our partners, my JV partners, and some of our students. We get on, we talk about note investing, we talk about making money in the note business. Some of us have made a lot of money in real estate and they're moving over to the note business. And I think you'll find that it's a really, really great place to be. You're around really good company when you're on our mastermind call. These are not just wannabes. These are real investors that have made literal fortunes investing in real estate, but they don't know the note business, and I am mentoring them, okay, into the note space. But you get to like pull back the curtain and kind of take a peek at what we do just by becoming one of our students, and you get to participate in that, and you get the same coaching that they get, and you don't necessarily have to buy a note if you just want to learn the business. Okay, so anyway, I'm Desi Arnaz. For those of you that don't know what note investing is, since this is note investing for newbies, I'd like to take a couple minutes and just explain what I mean by a note. A note is a promise to pay. It's an IOU. If you took out a piece of paper and you wrote on there, I owe you $100, right? Just say I loan you $100. And you wrote, I owe you $100. That is a promissory note. When you sign that, that's a note. And you're promising to pay me back. So the type of notes that we invest in are notes where people borrow money to buy a house, and then they sign a document with the bank saying, I agree to pay you back over the next 30 years at 4% interest rate or 7% interest rate, whatever, right? That's the type of notes that we buy. And then the reason that we buy those is because those notes come with another document. Now, that other document is called a mortgage, okay? And that is what I really like about the way we invest, because with notes, with mortgage note investing, the way that we do this, what happens for us is that if people don't pay us like they promised to do in the note, then the mortgage says we get to take the real estate. And once we own the real estate, we can do whatever we want to do with it. We can move into it, we could sell it, we could rent it out. We could donate it to a charity if we wanted to, because it's our property. and we pick it up for just what was owed on, for less than what was owed on the balance of the mortgage. Now think about that. If you look at a typical house, for example, it might look like this. Maybe the property itself, the house is worth $150,000, but the mortgage on the house is only $100,000. And then we pay less than that for the mortgage because we always get a discount. So in essence, our collateral is worth $150,000, and maybe we're in that thing for $95,000 or $90,000 or whatever, right? Or even less sometimes. If they don't pay us, we get the house that's worth $150,000. So we're very safe, and that's why I like investing in mortgage notes. So I'm going to show you here today a little PowerPoint presentation where I'm going to just kind of walk you through a note that I just bought 3 weeks ago. As a matter of fact, it's in Missouri. I'll show you that in just a minute. Before I switch over, one more time, guys, please like and share. I would really appreciate it. Give me that Facebook love, the Facebook juice, the YouTube love. You know, tell people to get on this here. Okay. And, you know, I love notes, but it looks like I'm not the only one that has fallen in love with notes. The real Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown, meet Desi Ernest. So, falling in love with notes too. Good for you, man. Good for you. It's a great thing. So Will says he has shared. Thank you, Will, for sharing. I do appreciate you sharing that across the Facebook space and YouTube space. Pat says shared. Thank you so much, Patricia, for sharing. And so let me just do this here, and let me just get you guys into my presentation for today. It is note investing. I call it the best kept secret in real estate, because you talk to real estate investors, most of them, and I mean the overwhelming majority of them, if they've even heard of notes, they have no clue how they work. Okay. Most of the time I find they haven't even heard of it, really. Okay. And so what you're going to find if you get into this space is that you are in a very unique position. You're in a position to provide others with a portal into the note investing space. And so that's what I really like about what we're doing. So here's what I want to start with. Look, whenever you buy a piece of real estate, if it's a rental property that you're buying and you're using a mortgage to buy it, right? You didn't pay cash, then there are two cash flows that come off real estate. I never thought about that back in the day, but there are two cash flows. One is called rental income. The landlord gets the rental income. We know how that works. I was a landlord for a long time. I'm not a landlord today, but if you're a landlord now, hey, then you know what I'm talking about, right? Put it in the chat if you're a landlord. Just curious, how many of you in there are landlords? If you're not a landlord, you're probably a tenant, or you're living at home with mama. Either way, you get what a landlord does, right? Landlords collect rent. But now here's a key question. When a landlord collects rent, can he just take all of that rent and put it into his pocket and spend it any way he wants? No, not at all. As a matter of fact, he's got to save some of that money to cover vacancies, because when you're the landlord, if someone moves out, you still have to have expenses that you're going to have to pay as a result of being the owner of the property. You may have to make some repairs or improvements to the property, right? You may have to pay some property taxes or some insurance or anything. Who knows? So if you are a landlord, you know what I'm talking about, right? We all get it. That's the way it works. But there's another cash flow that comes from real estate, and that is called interest income. As a matter of fact, it's the landlord's job to pay the interest income, and landlords try to collect it in the form of rent from their tenants. But even when the tenant doesn't pay their rent, the landlord still has to pay his interest income, right? So that the landlord still has to pay his interest expense, I should say, to the lender. So the lender still receives interest income. Now think about that. Even when the tenant doesn't pay the landlord still has to pay the bank. So I'm going to show you how you can be the bank. Okay, that's what I want to show you. So first thing, if you want to be the bank, you got to learn how to think like a bank, right? Understanding that banks are not in the real estate business. Banks are in the money business. Okay, why? Well, banks learned a long time ago that the money is in the money business. Hey, do you think the money's in the money business? If you agree with me on that, hit me up in the chat. Give me a share and a like. Yep, the money is in the money business. Yes, put that into the chat. The money's in the money business. So I'm going to show you guys here something that you may not have thought about. Every major city in the world has tall buildings, right? And if you look at the tops of those tall buildings, typically speaking, what do you see? Yeah, right. You see the name of a bank, right? You don't see the name of a landlord. You don't see the name of a property flipper, do you? You see the name of a bank, because banks don't flip houses. They don't do that because they're not in the real estate business. They're in the money business. Banks don't own rentals because they're not in the real estate business. They're in the money business. Banks don't build subdivisions, do they? Nope. But banks control real estate, don't they? They control real estate. They control real estate by financing it. And that puts them in position to profit from the real estate without even owning it. They don't have to deal with tenants and toilets and termite and trash and taxes and all the other T's that come with being a landlord. They don't have to deal with any of that. And so the reality of being a note investor is that you get freedom. Truly, you get freedom as a note investor. But now you may be asking yourself, first of all, how can I do it? And then secondly, what's the risk? Well, first, let me just address the risk question, because that's always what people are worried about when they deploy their capital. Risk, downside. So let me show you this. This is a note on a little house that I just purchased a mortgage on. This little house, the mortgage and note on this little house in Missouri. I call it the Big Mo. That's a picture of the actual real estate right there. I don't own the house. I have nothing to do with mowing that yard or trimming that tree. Nothing at all. I just get paid from this thing here, $1,300 a month. Okay, so that's how it works. I own the mortgage on this house. Here's the deal. This mortgage was originated 8 years ago. It was a Fannie Mae conventional mortgage. You may know what that is. If you've ever had a conventional mortgage, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The property value is worth $190,000, according to a local real estate agent. The loan balance that the homeowner owes to the bank is $146,000. And by the way, now I'm the bank. They owe me $146,000. Okay. The monthly payment that they make each month is $1,359. They have 22 years left to pay, and their interest rate is just under 10%. Now you may be wondering, why is their interest rate so high? Well, honestly, I don't know, but I can guarantee you this: at the time they were applying for financing 8 years ago, that was the best rate they could get, because very few people go out and look for a rate that's higher than what they have to take based upon their credit profile and their down payment and all that stuff. So this is what they qualified for at that time. And they have not refinanced it to lower that interest rate, which, by the way, for me, leaves an open door for an exit strategy. Now, you being a brand new note investor may not know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to show you something, okay? I bought this note for $128,000. Now, what does that actually mean? That means I went to their bank and I said, I'll give you $128,000 to step into your shoes. And they took it. Now, when I step into their shoes, I am owed $146,000. I'm not owed $128,000. I'm owed $146,000. Okay. That means I got an $18,000 discount. Another way to look at that is I have instant equity in that real estate for $18,000. If this homeowner sells this house tomorrow, they owe me $146,000. Think about that. I mean, isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? They could sell that house tomorrow and owe me $146,000, and I could put $18,000 profit in my pocket in a month. That's one of the things that banks have learned about being in the note business, not being in the real estate business. You see, I have equity in this note, and I didn't have to wait for the value of the note to go up. If I bought the house, I'd have to wait for the value of the house to go up in order to have equity in it, wouldn't I? Now, remember this too. These people were paying 9.99% interest on $146,000. However, I only paid $128,000. So my $128,000 is now collecting 9.99% interest on 146,000. So I'm getting interest on the $18,000 too. If you put that interest with the 9.99 that I'm getting on my money that I invested, it actually makes my annual yield 11.7. So you just stick that into your financial calculator, and this is what you come up with, right? Hewlett-Packard makes a really nice financial calculator, and I actually have a course on how to use it in my training, how to use that Hewlett-Packard financial calculator to calculate yields and balloon payments and early payoffs and all kinds of things like that. Okay, so that's the deal that I have right now on this. So you may be saying, well, what's the risk? What's the risk? Well, let's get into the risk. As an investor, I'm sure you're always wondering, is my money safe? Right? And it's unnerving. And that's why people lose sleep over the money that they have invested in their 401ks and IRAs, because it's in the stock market in most cases. Now, you can actually use your retirement account to invest in things other than stocks, but most stockbrokers won't tell you that because they don't get paid when you go out and buy a little apartment building or you buy a note. They don't get paid. So they don't tell you that you can actually put your money into other things. They just say, no, you got to buy stocks or your mutual fund, something that they get paid on. Okay. And I'm telling you, that's just a flat out falsehood. You can invest your money in other things. Unless your retirement account is with your employer, then your employer can restrict you. Okay. So with that, I just want to remind you guys again, please like and share. And then we're going to get into the risk that you face with note investing. But like and share this, okay? Invite people to come on over and learn this valuable lesson that we're talking about here today. So let's look at the risk. What are the risks involved in this scenario here if someone buys a note? Well, there's 3 possible outcomes when a person buys a note. Just 3. And if you think about this, there's only 3 possible outcomes if you loan someone money too, right? If you loan someone money, basically they are going to either pay you back like they're supposed to, or they're going to pay you back early, or guess what, right? This is what everybody's afraid of. They don't pay you, right? They just don't pay you. So one of those 3 things is going to happen whenever you loan money to someone. Well, I guess a 4th could be there. You could forgive it and say, hey, you don't have to pay me back, but I'm not in that type of a frame of mind, okay? But you have that as an option too, okay? So look at this. Let's take a look at the scenario where they pay as agreed. Then we'll look at pay early. Then we'll look at see what happens if they don't pay me back. I'm going to compare all 3 options as a note investor. So let's say that they pay me as agreed. That means that for the next 22 years, they will pay me $1,359 each month. If that's the case, they're going to pay me back a total of $358,776. Wow. So I invest $128,000 and get paid back $358,000. Suppose you did that inside your retirement account. You don't have to wonder if you're going to make money then, right? You know you're going to walk out of this thing with $358,000. That's what I love about this. It takes the guesswork out of this, right? That works out to be an 11.7% annualized yield. That means your money's working at 11.7% per year, every year, for 22 years. That's crazy. That's really crazy. Because think about this. Right now, banks are paying less than 1% for people that invest or people that put their money into a savings account. Less than 1%. So it would take more than 11 years for your money sitting in a bank account to earn as much as it will earn in 1 year using this particular investment right here. But option 2, maybe they'll pay me off early. Now, obviously, people can pay their mortgage off early, right? They sell their house and they pay off their mortgage. Sometimes they refinance the mortgage and borrow money from another bank to pay off their existing bank. They do all kinds of things like that. Sometimes they win the lottery and they pay off the house. They get an inheritance. They pay off the house. People pay off their house before the time is up. That just happens. So let's just take a look. Obviously, as a lender, I never know when someone's going to pay me off, because I don't know what's going to happen in their life to make them want to pay us off. But let's just say in this example that they paid on time for 5 years, and then they decide, you know what, let's buy a bigger house. So they sell the house, they pay me off. Over that 5-year period, they would have paid me 60 payments, right? That's 5 years of payments, $81,500 in payments. And because most of the payment is not principal, most of the payment is interest. If you've ever had a mortgage, you know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? Right? Most of that payment is interest. It's disheartening when you get that mortgage statement and you say, I just paid $1,300 and only $2.12 went against the balance, right? Because most of it is interest. I wonder why most of it is interest. You think because banks wrote the mortgages? Sure it is. Right? There's a thing called the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. And if you want to borrow money from a bank to buy a house, then you're going to pay mostly interest back in the early years of your mortgage. That's just how it works. Okay? So let's move on. So over 5 years, they will have paid me $81,500, and they'll still owe me $133,900. So when they sell the house and they send me a check for $133,906, I'll add that to the $81,500 that they already gave me, and I will have received a total payback of $215,000 in 5 years on a $128,000 investment. Is that good? You doggone right that's good. As a matter of fact, when you put those numbers into your financial calculator, your Hewlett-Packard, you're going to see that your money was working at a 20.6% per year annualized yield. Wow. Wow. That's fantastic. Now, are all notes paying that well? Not all. Some pay less, some pay more. You know, it's just case by case. But here's the thing that I can tell you. You can do this math before you ever buy the note so that you know what kind of a yield you could expect if you got paid off in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, right? You can just do the math once you learn how. As I said, I do teach that in my at the Note Investor University. And that's what I teach people how to do. And you can get there by going to investbrilliantly.com and sign up for the university, the coaching university. All right. So let's look at the third option, because this is the option that freaks people out, right? They think, oh my gosh, what if they don't pay me? What if they don't pay me? Well, here's the good news. First of all, you paid cash for the mortgage when you bought it. So if they don't pay you, at least you don't have to make a payment to anybody else. Okay. Unless you borrowed that money. Maybe you borrowed the money from Crazy Uncle Joe. Well, Crazy Uncle Joe may still want you to pay. But if you tell him what's going on, maybe you don't have to pay him until you get mortgage payments coming back in again or whatever. Okay? But bottom line on it is this. When you buy a mortgage, you don't get a mortgage to buy the mortgage. You just pay cash. So since you're paying cash, the fact that they're not paying you, in this case here, they wouldn't be paying me the $1,359, right? I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to go and pay anything else. I'm just not collecting $1,359 this month because they didn't pay. So that's what I want. That's the first thing I want you to keep in mind. Second thing I want you to keep in mind is this. When they don't pay me, it doesn't usually happen on the first day. It goes down the line some before they stop paying, right? They make payments for a while, then something happens in their life and they stop making payments. And so what I am going to do is I'm going to show you here what happens when that happens. But before I do, I just want to tell you once again, if you want to learn how to do this stuff, get on over to investbrilliantly.com. I have a lot of free information there, free videos you can watch. You also have links to my YouTube channel from there. And I have a coaching program that you can enroll into. It's only like $97 a month and you get mad value. There's a video there that explains what all you get, and it's month to month. You know, you can cancel anytime. So at any rate, let me go ahead and get back into our flow. So what happens if they fail to pay? Here's what I can show you for sure. If they fail to pay, then what I do is this. Let's just say in this scenario, they paid for 5 years, because we never know when they're going to stop paying. Just like we never know when they're going to pay the house off early, right? We don't never know what anybody's going to do, really. That's just life. So let's say they pay for 5 years and then they lose their job or they get a divorce or whatever. Life happens, right? So they pay for 5 years. That means that I would have collected $81,500 over that 5-year period. and they stopped paying me. So I take the house, right? I call my local real estate. First, I call my lawyer. I say, look, they stopped paying me. He says, okay, I'll take the house. The attorney takes the house through the foreclosure process. And then he says, okay, Desi, the house is yours. Then I call my real estate agent and I say, hey, I have a piece of real estate that I own over there. We call it REO. I have an REO that I want you to sell for me. And the realtor goes, yeah, man, I can sell that for you for $190,000. They sell it for $190,000. I've already collected $81,000. How did I do? Did I do awesome or what? My total payback is $271,000. I invested $128,000. Remember that? 5 or 6 years earlier, I invested $128,000. Now I have $271,000. That works out to be a 24.4% yield. Now, I'm going to tell you, just in the sake of full disclosure, obviously I got to pay my realtor and I got to pay my attorney, right? So I pay my realtor, I pay my attorney. Maybe it cost me another, 3%, 7%, 8% or something like that of 190. Let's say it cost me 10 grand, whatever. I don't know what that number is. It cost me 10 grand, 20 grand. That takes my yield down to maybe 22%, something like that. But still, it's fantastic. So here's the bottom line is this. I'm going to do good if they pay me on time. I'm going to do better if they pay me off early. And I'm going to do great if they don't pay me. I mean, it's really that simple. Worst case scenario for me is they just pay me like they're supposed to. That's worst case scenario. That's an 11.7% yield in that case. This is good stuff, guys. This is good stuff, right? Isn't this good stuff? If you think this is good stuff, put it into the chat. This is good stuff. Like and share this. Now, I can encourage these people to pay off early. Remember, I have $18,000. I bought this at an $18,000 discount. They owe $146. Suppose I said to them, look, I'll take $140 if you refinance right now and pay me off, right? So I dropped $6,000 and within 30 days, they refinance and pay me off. So I don't collect that $18,000 discount. I only collect $12,000, but I collect $12,000 in 30 days. And I get my $128,000 back, right? But now my $128,000 is now $140,000 in a month, maybe two. I mean, that's phenomenal annualized return. We can do those kinds of things, right? We can do those kinds of things. And that's what I want you to understand. You have so much flexibility when you are the bank. You can literally do all kinds of crazy things. What I'm just sharing with you guys is a little bit of something called financial intelligence. And I can tell you this, they don't teach it to you in school because most teachers don't have it. That's why most teachers and most educators don't really have very much in the way of assets, financial assets, or real estate assets, or anything else. And I've done many, many mortgages for many teachers over the years. And it's been consistently true. They own a home. Most of them own a home, but that's about the extent of it. So they don't really have the financial intelligence to even teach you this stuff. So you're not going to learn it in school. You have to learn this stuff from someone who's been there, done that. See, and with notes, you can be the bank. And that's what I'm going to try to encourage you to do. Be the bank. You can also use this as a retirement strategy. If you are a senior citizen right now, you're going to love what I'm about to show you here. If you own your house outright, or if you have very little that you owe on your house, maybe you have a $400,000 house, but you only owe $200,000, something like that, right? Or you have a $200,000 house, you only owe $100,000, something like that, and you're making payments every month. Check this out. Okay. This one I call the trucker's plan. This is a situation where a gentleman came to me. He was 69 years old. He had sold his business and he wanted to buy a house. He came to me. He said, I've got about $600,000 left in my bank from the sale of my business, my trucking business. And he said, I want to take $350,000 of that to buy a house cash because I don't want to have to think about more monthly payments. And he said, that'll leave me $250,000 as a nest egg. And with my Social Security income, $2,100, I'll be in good shape. And you know what I said? I said, dude, that's a good plan. I like it. That's a good plan. I said, but I do have an option that I would like to discuss with you. And based upon what you said you want to do, you said you want to own your own home, you want to have no mortgage payments, and you want to make sure you have a lot of cash reserves, right? That's what you want. He said, yes. I said, well, let me show you something. Suppose I could show you a way to buy a nicer house than a $350,000 house. I can show you a nicer house. Would you like that? He says, yes, I'd like that. I said, suppose I could show you a way to have no mortgage payments for the rest of your life. Would you like that? He said, yeah, that's what I want. And I said, suppose I could also show you a way that you could have an additional $1,500 plus a month coming in besides your Social Security and still have almost $250,000 in cash reserves. Would that get your interest? He said, dude, if you can do that, hey, I raise my glass to you, right? So I said, well, look, let me show you how I think we can get that done for you. And so what I did is I showed him a better way to do this. Here is what we actually did. This is the house he bought right here. This is the actual real estate that he bought. It's here in San Diego County, and it's beautiful. It's on like a half-acre lot or something. Really beautiful home. Much nicer than he could have gotten for $350,000 by far. He couldn't live in this neighborhood even for $350,000 because nothing in this neighborhood sold for $350,000 at that time. Still doesn't. So this is the house he bought, 3-car garage. I don't remember the square footage on it, but it's a beautiful home. And he only had to put down half because of a type of financing that I introduced him to. So he only had to come up with $215,000 as a down payment, not $350,000 that he thought he was going to have to come up with to buy a house with no mortgage payments. So he has no mortgage payments because I helped him qualify for a retiree mortgage. That's what I call it. A retiree mortgage is a mortgage that's available to people that are more than 62 years old, where if they are qualified, they don't have to have a mortgage payment for the rest of their life. Even if they live to be 112, they don't pay a mortgage payment on their house ever again. Okay. So that's the mortgage that he took out. And remember, he only had to put down $215,000, not $350,000. So that left him a lot of cash, right? So he took $150,000 of cash and bought some mortgage notes. Those mortgage notes paid him $1,950 a month. That's fantastic, right? So he's collecting $1,950 a month. Mailbox money, as they like to say. Mailbox money, easy money. And that $1,950 a month helped to subsidize his income because his income was for Social Security, right? His Social Security income. So let's see. He got a nicer house, didn't he? No mortgage payments. No mortgage payments for the rest of his life. $235,000 left in his nest egg. He liked that. Plus, on top of that, he also has now $1,950 a month coming in from his interest income on his mortgage notes and his Social Security income. So now he's collecting $4,000 a month, not $2,100. And he still has a fat nest egg. This guy loves what I did for him. Isn't that cool? You know, being a senior citizen, $4,000 a month is so much better than $2,000 a month as far as creating a lifestyle for you. So much better. As a matter of fact, I guess at any age you can say that that's true, right? And here's what we did. Here's what he did, I should say. He got so excited about the way that we structured this that he went out and bought himself a Harley Davidson motorcycle, a limited edition, beautiful machine. I love that machine. And he got himself a 47-year-old girlfriend too. Remember, he was 69. So his golden years really are golden. That's the kind of stuff that you can do when you really do have financial intelligence and you get this stuff, okay? Now, I know that some of you guys right now may feel like, okay, this sounds good, but I don't know what the heck I'm doing. If that's you, don't sweat it, because we have a program where we will hold your hand through the whole thing. We can do a joint venture with you on your first note if that's what you want, to help you just make sure that you sleep well, don't lose sleep over it. And we'll just share in the profit with you on that first deal, but we'll also teach you as we go so that moving forward, you won't need a joint venture partner. You will sleep well because you'll get it. You'll actually learn while you earn. You'll earn while you learn. I think that's how they say it, right? Earn while you learn. You're going to earn while you learn. And then from there, you're in. That's it. All you got to do then is just start continuing to buy more notes for yourself, right? So, as I mentioned earlier, you can invest your retirement account to buy these notes. You can use your own cash, but the bottom line on this, you do need to do something. You do need to do something. I think that you should make sure that no matter what happens, you got some money in the note space. If you're a landlord, pick up a note or two. If you are a property flipper, pick up some notes. If you have kids, buy some notes and put them into a retirement account for your kids or a college fund for your kids. I mean, buy some notes, right? Because they're very safe. You get high returns, and you even get cash flow if you want that cash flow. So that's what I suggest. So here's where we are right now. The ball is in your court, right? You can head on over to investbrilliantly.com. At investbrilliantly.com, you can take a look at what we have to offer. Here is a screenshot of the actual website. And right there, if you want to hear my story, you can hear it right there. If you want to book a 30-minute call with me, because I give free consultations, feel free to just book a call with me anytime, okay? My calendar link is right there. If you want to know about our coaching program, just click on this and tell me about your coaching program, and you can watch a video that I created that explains how the coaching program works. And then I have some videos in here, just educational stuff, if you want to understand notes at a different level, right? So I want to encourage you to take advantage of this. This is big stuff, and it's important. It's important. You can change the lives for your family. You can be the difference maker in your family, just like just like in the Kennedy family, right? Joseph Kennedy was the difference maker in his family. Every wealthy family has one person that just made the difference financially. And you can trace back in every wealthy family who that person was. And it can be you and your family. You can certainly become wealthy as a note investor. I absolutely can show you how to do that. Okay. And when you see it, you'll know you can do it. You won't look at it and go, I can't do this. You'll look at it and go, I know I can do this. This is absolutely doable. So I show people how to do that and how to create wealth with mortgage notes. And then I invite them to, joint venture with me on some notes or do some notes, buy some notes on their own. Doesn't really matter, but we do sell notes here at our company. They're fully vetted, good, high quality notes that you will sleep well when they're in your portfolio. Okay. All right. So I see that Anastasia says, hey, such a great presentation. Saving up to buy my first note. Yeah, you go, girl. Saving up to buy your first note. I don't blame you. Definitely want to do that. Now, also, though, I do want to just point out to you that ultimately, note investing, or being a professional note investor, is really not about you saving up to buy notes. It's really about you having the knowledge to know how to structure note deals to buy your notes. Because there are ways that you can buy notes using other people's money. So I just want you to keep that in mind, okay? So it's not about how much money you have. But if you do have money, obviously you should put your own money into notes. But eventually, even if you have a lot of money, eventually you run out of cash because all of your money is in notes. And if you want to buy more notes, you have to learn how to use other people's money to buy notes. And that's one of the big lessons that I teach people. And that is how you can have an unlimited note portfolio. I know of one guy that I know personally. He had, the last time I talked to him, which was about 2 years ago, he had about 350 notes. And I heard of a guy, I've never met him, but I heard of a guy that has over 7,000 notes. He's a real estate agent for a RE/MAX company, is what I was told. I've never met him. I'd like to meet him, though. Has over 7,000 notes. And I guarantee you, it wasn't his money that he used to buy those notes. That's just, that's how it works. Okay. The wealthy don't use their own money to make investments. When you listen to people like Warren Buffett, he's always talking about his partners, right? Donald Trump, right? With his real estate deals, my partners. Well, I'm telling you guys, that's the secret. If you want to know the secret to creating wealth with real estate, whether it's notes or traditional real estate, it is learning how to find partners to finance your note deals or your real estate deals. That's the secret. So if you want a skill set, you get that skill set dialed in, and it's game over, right? You learn how to raise money, and you can raise millions of dollars. You can buy apartment complexes like Grant Cardone did. Grant Cardone's buying all those apartment complexes. He's not using his money. He even says it, right? He put together partnerships, and that's where all the money's coming from. That's how you play the game. That's financial intelligence. That's the stuff that you guys need to embrace and learn. And that is exactly what I teach you if you sign up for my coaching program. I teach you how to do that if you want to learn it. If you don't want to learn it, that's fine. You can just learn about notes, buy notes with your own money, and be done. But if you want to get wealthy, then you may want to learn how to invest using other people's money. That's a skill set that you must master in order to really get wealthy with real estate. All right. Is this good stuff? Thank you, Patrick, for sharing. I do appreciate that. Jackie shared it. Yes. Yes, you guys are out there showing me love. I appreciate that. Will shared it. Yes. Yes, you guys are out there showing me love. I do appreciate that. Pat shared it. All right. I like it. I like it. All right, guys. Look, I want to thank you all so much for participating today. Thank you for playing, boys and girls. And I'll see you guys. Next Monday here on the Note Investing for Newbies show at 4:30 Pacific. And I want to invite you guys one last time. Head on over to investbrilliantly.com. Get yourself signed up for our coaching program. It's $97 a month. Try it out for a month. See what you think. I don't think that you'll be disappointed. As a matter of fact, I know you won't be disappointed because I will definitely over deliver. You're going to get thousands of dollars worth of value in 1 month. I absolutely guarantee it. Okay. So there you have it, my friends. I'm going to call it a day. Go home and have me some supper here in Southern California. I know some of you guys it's pretty late. For me, it's just coming up on the dinner hour. I always eat my dinner between 5 and 6. So God bless you guys. I will see you all next week.